I've been involved in businesses over in the Middle East, and so I'm pretty familiar with how Islam works and how it spreads and what their intentions are. And so I don't want that here in Texas, and neither do our voters apparently.
We're at Ken Paxton's election party, but there's someone else that's waiting for results to come in for their election. Beau French?
Yeah.
How are you?
Great.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. Nice to see you too.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Beau French, and I am the candidate for the Texas Railroad Commission, which has nothing to do with trains. It is it's oil and gas, which is our biggest industry in Texas. We produce almost half the oil and gas in Texas. I mean, in Texas for the United States. Okay. So it's a national security issue. It's a 3-person commission, 6-year term, and as of right now, the early results are good. I'm leading the race, but probably there were 5 candidates in the race, so it's probably going to be a runoff. Okay. So feeling good about it right now.
I've seen some media articles attempting to attack you.
Well, yeah, the legacy
for conservative views.
The legacy media hates me because I was the first elected official in Texas to call for the outright banning of Islam, talking about how we need to deport 100 million people from America and denaturalize a bunch of people. So for all those reasons, they really have come after me. All of the major editorial boards, the Fort Worth Telegram, Houston Chronicle, Dallas Morning News, Austin American Statesman, all wrote multiple hit pieces on me because the Democrats obviously, I was really the only real conservative in the race, so they all came after me pretty hard.
What does it say then, Beau? Not just for yourself, but for Ken as well. He was not the underdog, but he spent $4 million. The other opposition spent $100 million. He's pretty vocal about Islam. Yeah. You're vocal about Islam. You're leading the race. So against all the weight and the might of the legacy media, what message does that send?
Well, look, everywhere I went around the state, I traveled the state, went to a lot of places. Every group I talked to, I would say, who here is worried about the Islamification of Texas? And without fail, 100% of the people in the room would raise their hand. So the voters of Texas, the primary voters of Texas, really care about it and are really worried about it. And look, like I said, I think I was the first elected official to be talking about it on a regular basis. I got lots of flack, even from within my own party, calling me racist and all kinds of things. So, but look, I've been involved in businesses over in the Middle East, and so I'm pretty familiar with how Islam works and how it spreads and what their intentions are. And so I don't want that here in Texas, and neither do our voters apparently.
What are their intentions?
Well, they tell you. It is civilizational jihad. They're here to conquer us, overtake us, convert everybody. It's convert or we're going to kill you. And that's essentially the bottom line.
To a British audience, how refreshing is that to hear from someone who's leading a political race? We've waited 30 years in our country. Not one single politician has ever had the bravery to stand and speak in the mannerism or the facts that you're speaking. Not one. And we've had terrorist attack and jihad attack. So,
look. I love England. I've spent a lot of time there. I've done business there, and I've watched it change just from in my lifetime going there. I remember going to Harrods as a kid and being a bunch of English people there, and anywhere Mayfair or whatever. Now you walk around and there's people in full burqas, and it's a completely different city than it was even just a decade or two ago. And so I don't think it's too late for England, but you've got to have politicians who are willing to endure. Look, I get death threats daily. So I have security all the time. It's something I think about a lot.
You have to live with security?
Absolutely. Yeah. Even here in America.
What difference does that make on your life? Does it make you feel? Does it make you feel that you wish you didn't speak out?
No, because if we don't speak out, then they are going to win. It's as simple as that. So somebody has to be the vanguard. Somebody has to be out there speaking out about it, which I know you've done a great job as well. But if we don't, then they're going to win. We've seen this. They've been doing this for 1,400 years. It's not like they're going to stop.
Do you think there's many Texans, many Republicans, many Americans that are totally ignorant to the danger that America faces?
Well, look, I think a lot of people are, yes, but also, it depends on where they are. In a lot of small towns, people are like, well, I don't see anybody here. But in all of the major metroplexes, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Houston area, the bigger cities, that's where they hide out. That's where they come because they can fit in easier. They can take over neighborhoods. They can build their mosques. We have 330 mosques just here in Texas. They're building 2 a month. So they are accelerating And I think the Biden administration, they brought even more people in, right? They let 20 million people cross our border illegally. I'm sure, untold numbers of those were people from, Arab countries. So, we are convinced that, those of us who are paying attention are convinced that this is an inflection point. And, we're just a few years really behind where you are in the UK. And we see that, thank goodness there's we have Elon Musk, liberated Twitter, right? And so we have the ability now to see this in real time, and there's more people covering it. And then, of course, like in Minnesota, we had the whole Somali fraud thing. All the Somalis taken over, and people like Ilhan Omar, who went from she didn't have 2 nickels to rub together 4 years ago, and now she has $30 million. So I think people are waking up to how these people are coming in. They're taking over. They're getting into elected office. They're defrauding our ridiculous system, which the same thing's happened in the UK. How many immigrants do you have over there that are on social services?
How do you stop it? What's the plan? How does America? Because you've got your constitution, you've got your protected rights. They'll use your constitution. They'll use these rights against you to grow and grow and grow. How does America, with its own values, stand by its values, but stop this?
Yeah, I love what Donald Trump said about a year ago. He said, we can just do things. And I think at some point in time, you have to say, are we going to save our culture or not? And that really is the decision. And we're going to have to do some uncomfortable things in order to do that. And so I think the way that we could do that here, we could start attacking, so we could ban halal slaughter, for instance. We could start cracking down on their mosques. We could ban the dress. So there are things we could do to make it where it's harder for them. Mainly, we need to get rid of all the fraud that they're doing within our social services, just like they are in the UK. But also, ultimately, what I think we have to do, and this is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, we have to ban Islam. We just have to say you can't practice Islam here. Just like we don't.
If you took away the recognition of it being a religion, because it's a political ideology.
Well, that's the key. It is a political structure.
It's not a religion.
It's disguised as a religion. So I think that is how we attack it. That's the attack vector.
Do you think it's the biggest threat that America faces?
Well, I think we face a lot of threats because we are America. We are the kind of the lone superpower. So there are lots of things, but I think it is one of our biggest issues for sure, and it's grown. It's accelerating in its growth. So I think it is becoming one of the biggest issues very quickly, and I think that's kind of caught a lot of people off guard.
In the oil and gas industry, are they trying to move in on that?
Well, they're trying to move in on everything, and I think, for me, the oil and gas industry, like I said, we produce so much oil and gas here in Texas. It is a national security issue, and the reason I say that is just look at what Trump's done in the last, few weeks. He went after Maduro in Venezuela. What does Venezuela have? The largest oil reserves in the world. He just went after Iran. What does Iran have? The 3rd largest oil reserves in the world, right? So, getting control or liberating those oil reserves from, Chinese influence or from Iranian influence, those things are important because we're essentially defunding our enemies. So I think there's, it's all sort of interrelated, like a lot of issues, but this is certainly one that I think more, for me, it's really more about the cultural issue. Look at the sort of replacement that's happening in England, right? What percentage of your people are foreign born? In America, we're up to almost 20% now are foreign born. You're way over that, I think.
Well, only 33% of London is English now.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you?
So my website's beaufrench.com, and then on Twitter, that's where most people follow me, is beaufrenchtx.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You bet.
And good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.